Okay, it says we are live. Refreshing the page.
Perfect.
Good morning.
I just remembered I need to take my medicine. God, yesterday was a scary moment because I was like, I don't remember if I took my medicine, but I don't want to double up on my medicine. And I was like, I don't know what to do.
I did that the other day, and then I was like, I'm just going to take it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I did. I waited until later in the day to take it, so that way if I did double up, it wasn't too bad because it was spread out.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know, and I'd rather double up on it than not take it.
Yeah. Hi, Nina. You know, Barrett came by but had to go to work. Barrett, on the replay, hope you're having a great day at work. Hope you've had a great day at work.
Yep.
We miss you. Hurts.
We do.
Hi, Kat. How are you? It doesn't show up here yet, but I have it over on my computer.
I was about to say, I was like, what the? I'm not seeing it.
I have the power of foresight.
Premonition.
I can see into the future, and I know that Kat is going to say, morning.
This reminds me of my I was talking to Alex about something, and I said some word, and he's like, stop using big words around me, like jokingly. But we actually do it all the time. And then I let him know with work, I learned a new word, and I was like, adjudicated.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard it before. And he was like, what, you didn't know what that means and stuff? And then he was like, wait a second. Doesn't it mean, and what did he say? He said, he gave a wrong definition. I was like, no, it does not mean that. And then he ended up looking it up on his phone while I'm telling him what it means. And but it was an interesting situation for anybody who doesn't know. Adjudicated means, which by the way, look up adjudicate, because if you look up adjudicated or adjudicating or something, it will do that stupid thing where it uses the word in the definition of the word it's defining. And I'm like,
this is not helpful.
No, there should be a law, okay, that you cannot do that.
Like me last weekend.
Yeah.
I was not.
But you fixed yourself.
I did.
Okay, you didn't put it in print and then say, here you go, world, if you're trying to expand your vocabulary. So either way, adjudicate means to make a final decision on a item. So like the legal counsel adjudicated their advisor's notes or write-ups or something, like, I don't know. Like it could be something loose like that. Oh my God, stop yawning. You got sleep. I did wake up a few times last night.
I slept really good last night. I think I had weird dreams, but I don't remember them.
Oh, I know I've been having weird dreams lately, and part of me wants to do like a dream journal thing. The other part of me is like, you know what? We can relax. The thing that drives me crazy right now is that I really like am torn between writing everything that crosses my mind down, and then Stephen King's words kind of stand out because he doesn't do journals and everything. He goes, listen, journals are where bad ideas go, is his mindset. He thinks if it's a good idea, it's going to stick with you and you're going to like mull it over for a while, which I understand. But at the same time, I'm thinking Stephen King doesn't have our mindset and are as sporadic as we are. And
okay, he says that, but his wife saved Carrie from his trash can. So
yeah, but that's him writing it completely. We're talking about all ideas,
and
stuff. So
I like to write stuff down because a lot of times I've taken bits and pieces of other ideas and put them together. like in a
Yeah.
different story. So I like to write it down because of that. But I also think, stop it. No.
Mm, it's happening. It's that
good.
kind of day.
Um, I was saying something. I also feel like sometimes just writing it down and coming back to it gives you the opportunity to see that it isn't good, and it's kind of comforting to know that you're not like missing stuff.
Yeah. Though I will admit, like, so you know how you approach books differently. For my second book, Parallel Judy, what I ended up doing is I had the full idea of the story, and I kind of wrote down a quick synopsis of what was going to happen when, and it was like 1,700 words written down. And then I started writing the story. Well, now I'm going back over the synopsis that I wrote before I wrote the story, and there's things in the synopsis that's not in the story. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that. Then there's other things in the synopsis where I'm like, oh, maybe that should be in the story now. And so I'm like in this like limbo trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But I mean, I'm kind of glad the story evolved to where it was. Let me put it this way. There was a lot more sex in the synopsis than I have in the story. Like,
that's fair. I mean, when I had the idea for Project Air initially, it was not completely different. The premise was the same, but there was a lot more graphic violence that didn't serve a purpose, and I think that was just me being a new writer.
Yeah, that is true, because this is my second manuscript that I did. And the idea came in. The premise is there because it deals with parallel universes and stuff, so that part's never going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just glad the movie Everything Everywhere at Once finally came out, so now I have comparables to describe what it is. And finally came to what it is. And it is the multiple universes of Everything Everywhere all at once, with an AI called Al, similar to Quantum Leap. I had to throw that in. It was just, I couldn't stay away. But where you believe your where your decisions are guided to something similar to a guardian angel, like all combined is what.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And and remember how we were talking about the little tagline I said, because who knows you better than you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm questioning. So I'm running a query letter for it, and I'm like, one of the rules is don't make an ambiguous like question of like, will she make it and stuff like that. And I'm like, is who knows you better than you kind of like along those lines, that it shouldn't be in a query letter of like an obscure question.
Having never written a successful query letter, I will give you my unsolicited 2 cents. I feel like that question answers itself. So is it really a question, or is it more of a, what's the word for a
rhetorical question?
Thank you. Yeah.
And they say don't put rhetorical questions in the...
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I answered. Apparently, my answer was a rhetorical answer.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's just as books are. There's rules, and then there's times that you can break it, like that it's okay. So
I say try one with and try one without.
Well, I'm sending it to one person right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because for anyone who doesn't know, I had no clue that this Twitter pitch thing was going. It was a science fiction fantasy pit, or so SFF pit hashtag. And so in like the last 10 minutes of it, I was like, sure, I'll play. I ended up having 2 freaking typos in that thing, which drives me crazy. So instead of everything everywhere, it says everywhere everywhere. And I said an alternate universe, but I ended up typing an alternate universe. and this associate agent still liked it with those typos. So either way, everyone else had been able to do like 10 pitches all day, and I was able to throw something in at the end. I had still got something, so I'm happy.
Well, that's very exciting.
Yeah, through the typos. Gosh, I just wish but now I've already looked for in the future, like the next pitch day thing on Twitter. I think I'm going to start doing those a lot more. And it's in October 20th. It's a dark one, which is perfect because I got a dark women's fantasy. So,
ooh, that's exciting.
Yep.
I think I have one as well, but it's not nearly done. And just knowing how I operate, I don't want to start putting things forward until I have it close to being done.
Well, and that's the thing is that Parallel Judy to me is not technically done because it's gone through beta readers, but at the same time, my idea is that things are kind of never going to be done as long as what I have right now is usable, like, and which for me it means I've drafted it and I've at least done my once through.
And that's the thing with Mother Mercy. I have like free writing and notes.
Oh yeah, not ready.
Not at all. No.
So,
but I am really excited about it. It's an idea that I've had kind of running around in the back of my mind for a while. And but right when I started to outline it, or to do the free writing and prep to outline, that's when Kelly gave me the suggestion on how to fix my timeline for secrets in the cellar. And so I went through that and fixed the whole timeline and started redrafting that. And then I had a conversation with my best friend, which gave me the inspiration I needed to finish editing my sci-fi project, which I finished editing, and I'm starting on the next round. So Mother Mercy got pushed to the back burner. I'm going to visit family soon, so I should have a little bit of extra free time, and I might just, maybe, we'll see what happens. So
I will say, when you're visiting family, don't expect to do writing because you're visiting family. Like, and so you might like be social and it might be more enjoyable. You might not have as much downtime. So my idea is for a vacation, don't expect to write ever. That way, if you write a little bit, it's like, wow, I didn't think I'd get to this at all. And it's a happy thing. But if you're like, oh, I'll be able to write at least 3 chapters. And then if you don't, because you were hanging out with family the whole time, you're going to be let down.
Well, I mean, this side of the family, we usually like spend time together earlier in the day, and then the hottest part of the day, everyone's like, okay, now we nap. And everyone just like goes to their separate spot, and we just vegetate.
Oh my god, I'm loving the chat right now.
Kat, yay for getting laundry done, and for moms, because that's big mood. And fingers crossed on a job. And that's what I heard from like everyone during COVID. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say the Big Pan's Pizza, but I'm tired.
It's easier.
It's fine. It's fine. That it took a really long time for everything to go through. Dobby, quit it. He's mad at me because I took my trash can off the floor from which he was trying to eat plastic. So, good morning. Time flies when you're really knocking over my heater.
I was wondering what that was. I was like, damn, that was kind of insane.
Yeah. He's being so extra.
I agree, Eva. The convo with my mom can feel like 5 minutes while she's visiting, but be 2 hours. And I've seen it on the other side where I'm talking to someone for 5 minutes and it feels like 2 hours. It's time is relative and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have times like that, but it is nice that it's usually really early in the morning, because then by afternoon everyone is tired and ready to take a nap, and I don't usually nap, so that's when I'll be like,
yeah. Though I will say that it's something important to downtime. Like, even if you're not napping, just giving your mind a little bit to just chill, not think about anything and stuff. Which, if you're tired, will lead to a nap, but also it's not that bad.
Do you know, though, the funny thing, I was just thinking about this, the last time I went and saw family, this side of the family, I was working on Secrets of the Cellar as well.
Oh, wow.
That's how long I've been working on this project.
I know, like, I see stories of people be like, I've been working on this story for 5 years, and I'm like, am I moving fast or slow, or like, it is. And it's funny how writers, we compare ourselves, because we compare ourselves to others going, oh my gosh, I don't write enough words, because we do sprints, and then people are knocking out 1,000 words in the sprint, and they go, wow. And you're sitting there going, I only got 200 words. Or it was a really bad day and you're like, I got 50. But then on the other side, when people are finishing books and stuff, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not moving fast enough. But hearing about someone working on a story for 5 years, I was like, you know what? My story, like, therapy sessions was in 2020. And Parallel Judy was just last year, or the year before. So I'm like, it's not, so 21. So I'm like, it's not that crazy. It's okay. Like, it's, I need to stop comparing myself to people and thinking just because someone spent more time than me doesn't mean I'm not spending the time I need to. Just because someone got done faster than me doesn't mean I'm not going fast enough.
What Eva said, I don't see word counts as a big deal since so many writers can write a ton of words and not finish books, not publish. I'm so many writers.
Well, yeah, and then also when we're drafting, let's be honest, like, it's how many is good words? Okay? Because there's times that I go back and I go, you know what? This entire paragraph, page, whatever, delete.
Hold on 1 second. I need to put my little dude in timeout because he's trying to eat power cords now.
Okay, no problem. I will share the prompt and such. I have finished the 0 draft of book 2, but the first draft is the real achievement. To me, finishing any draft is amazing. And I'm actually the type of person where I enjoy editing more than I do drafting. I was raised writing rough drafts. It just doesn't count as I finished as it stands to me.
Okay. We filled his food bowl and put him in a full-on timeout. So
there we go. I always compare myself to others, especially. Wow, I should click on these. I know we're on your channel, but I'm like, I have the power. I always compare myself to others, especially since I discovered Nano, because I just cannot write 50K in a month. And I always saw everyone write books in a month. Yeah, so Nano, I truly don't believe that. So first book was a Nano for me outside of Nano. It took me 28 days to write 60,000 words. And it was because that idea has been with me for 5 years. And then finally, that was the first book where I was like, all right, let's just write this. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just get it out. Parallel Judy, which was Project Parallel at first, I did for a Nano. And I had an idea. I had a structure. But you know what? To draft that story and to get to the end, it was only 30,000 words. Like, to me, it's, I don't like holding myself to words. It's what does it take to make the story? And then do I need to add to the story or take away from the story?
So, yeah, my last project, my last Nano, I finished it. I can't use that. I mean, not that I can't use it. It got really messy at the end. So messy. Like, I'm changing tense. I'm changing POV. And what I mean is, like, I broke it out into sections. So I know, like, okay, this whole section is going to be in a different tense or a different POV. Or maybe both.
Yeah.
So I separated it, which was helpful for like editing me, because like as I started to do it, I'm like, you're gonna hate yourself later if you don't delineate some kind of
you're gonna hate yourself already. Let's just make the hate less.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, just do something nice for yourself while you're like editing Chandra's in the foot. Like, do one nice thing for yourself and create some kind of container for this chaos.
Yeah, a little bit of categorization. God, I
yeah,
can't.
yeah, and it was, and I did, but it's gonna be a lot.
It's gonna be a time.
It is, but it's on paper. It's on paper. It's the
yes,
thing.
And that's the thing, is that we got to tell ourselves we just, with the draft, it just has to exist and everything. And
I've done Nano 3 times, I think. The thing is, one, it's getting words on the page. 2, even if you don't finish with the 50,000 that you're shooting for, you still end up with more words than you would have otherwise.
Yep.
And honestly, that's the win, in my personal opinion. And it's as long as you're having fun. But if it's not fun for you and it's just stressful, then like don't. For me, I find it really helpful because I get really distracted, and there's like, a lot of squirrel moments happen for me. And if I do something, it's helpful for me to do it as fast as humanly possible so that I can actually get it done. Versus if I drag the process out, it makes it a lot harder for me to actually complete the project. So that's what I like Nano and why it works for me. But I've also found my word count can vary wildly, in that sometimes the more I have a scene thought out in my head, the easier it is for me to write it.
Yeah.
So sometimes to write faster, I have to not write and step away. And like you said, have that story in your mind for a long time before you actually start putting words on the page.
And it's not bad. So going back to comparisons, they really do steal joy. And that's probably why maybe writing becomes not fun, because you have this this like preconceived notion what it's supposed to be. And when you're not meeting that preconceived notion, then you start beating yourself up. As a writer of elder years, Eva, it's hard not to compare progress when it comes to age, stage in life. Yeah, I keep on reminding myself that I need to not compare myself to somebody who doesn't have kids or doesn't have a full-time job, and even those who have both. And I'm like, I just look at them and go, well, maybe their schedule is better than mine. Oh, I just remembered I had something going on with work last night that had me up till 12 a.m. And I'm wondering if it was done, because I was waiting for it.
That's check.
Yeah.
Cat, I win because I count school papers, because my major and classes were paper heavy. Otherwise, would not have a chance to win because I had so many papers. Yeah,
that's what I did for Millwordy. I counted work for me.
Yeah,
but I would only count the emails that I felt necessary to like read and make sure it was concise, because I didn't count the emails where I'm like, sounds good, period, send. I didn't count those.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of, some things I actually will just average and be like, I did this, so here's an average of how many words it would come to, and it all comes out in the wash. I outlined in Scrivener and write over it. So book 1 was outlined as 12 chapters, and I wrote 12 chapters in Scrivener Eurodraft. Then I moved it to Word, ended up 22 chapters and 5K words longer. Those 12 chapters were just split up a lot. That's what my first draft really is, breaking it into an easier read chapter wise and cleaning up holes like where are they again? Yeah. And that's a big part of my first edit, where I think I have it here somewhere, where I go through and I'm looking at simple things like the timeline and the settings, and maybe one character that's really weak in the story and needs to be stronger, but like make it simple for myself so that I'm not chasing down a bunch of loose threads, and I know that there's others that I'll come back to later.
Yep.
Right.
I know. Oh yeah. Eva's. Writing 50 words isn't motivating for me because I can write very quickly and still never finish anything. Yeah. And the critique reads I did in October and November last year, and each had handwritten notes taken and editorial documents totaling over 80,000 words. I didn't do Nano though.
I feel like you should have counted that for a day.
I did for Milwordy. I counted all my critique. I counted the words that I was looking at critically, and then I counted the words that I typed up. I take notes as I write, things that make me want to back up and change things. I write down and fix those too. I'll do my first revisions from 0 to first draft this week. Ooh, excited. I think it's just doing what works for you. Okay, what is my computer doing?
We are gonna have to get started.
Yes, we got to.
Because we like to jibber jabber. What I think we'll do though, we'll start the timer, and then we'll set another timer for each of us, to read, so that we can stay on track. Does that sound good?
Yeah, we'll
not for us to read, but for us to read and then commentate on that, and then
yeah.
So we can post ourselves.
I'm trying to find my mouse right now so I can share the banner. Okay, today's prompt is an amateur film competition. Words to include are asteroid, multitude, bobsled, rodent, boysenberry, which, by the way, I never knew that was the spelling. Really, dog? Gut, reel, showtime, buoy, and spider. And I am putting that as a comment.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I still have no clue where exactly I'm going with this, but I at least got the Word document open.
I'll pin this. Copy that. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. And we will begin in 3, 2, and 1. Okay. I am mid-sentence, and I'm just going to leave it how it is for once.
Wow. Not me, dude. I'm on the last lines.
I think I could write another.
I did use all the words. You wrote 300?
No, I wrote 738, but I feel like I could write another 300 words.
That's a nice feeling.
And
I just saw my dogs run by. I forgot I still have them outside.
I'm really liking this story. I'm liking the characters, and I feel like even though it's not done where it is, it's kind of a fun little cliffhanger for the live. So I'm gonna leave it and then finish it later. Finish cleaning out my email during that, mostly author newsletters. Love the email clean out. I haven't signed up for any newsletters because I already have 4 emails to keep up with, and it is struggle. Use Spideys. Yeah, I didn't like writing about spider. I don't like spiders at all.
I feel I made it work, and I feel like I was more creative than I thought I could be.
If we use this in the same way, I'm going to laugh so hard.
Yeah, we might have been different. I started creating films that, like, I went from the judge's perspective, and I started using some of the words as film titles or as part of the short film description.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I just sent you.
Okay, I'll sign into my Gmail because now that I know the right email.
I did some. I feel like I did some really fun stuff with it. And I definitely want to keep. I feel like this could actually go from being a flash to being a short story. And there's, like, even just with what I have, there's so much that I could expand on because I did a lot of telling in this. And if I were to take it from telling to showing, it would be a lot longer.
Yeah, and so that's probably where you're talking about, like, 300 extra words. And
the 300 extra words would just be at the end of the story with what I already have.
Oh,
and
damn.
If I completely changed it, I think that's when it would go to be a short story. So I could still make it a flash fiction, but it would be it would be telling the whole time instead of showing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I feel like it works for this specific story, but you know, a lot of times we try to avoid telling and go more with the showing. I don't know. We'll see what y'all think. I can't believe I wrote that much though, and it just was like
flowing.
How many flash pieces have you written now?
Ever. Have you been keeping track? I mean, you actually have.
I have a list. Hold on. I'm going to tell y'all. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I got my list. I'd have to open it up, but I'm going to send in Gmail first before I open that thing.
So I haven't updated because I have one document where I have all of my stories combined. Let me see. This is that's not the right one. Here we go. Flash fiction log collection. So what I have in this document, the last few weeks I haven't added, but I have 73 in this one document, and I think I have maybe 8 more to add to it. So
that
81.
means 1. We can do math. Yeah, because, all right, so for me, since September 26th, and including all flashes, so like times that I've submitted to CGL when they did prompts, as well as any prompts on the side that I did submitting to other stuff, is I've written, if you include today's right now, I've written 196 flashes. And that puts me at just shy of 91,000 words total, including the prompt I just wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting there slowly. And I've even skipped a few, and I feel bad. I gotta get those done.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, because like I think this would be a good challenge for us if we do one of the prompts I skipped, because the prompt title is a comedy of errors, and you and I have a little issues with comedy, like writing comedy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we need to work on. Just by that prompt title alone, I'm like, can we write slapstick? It's in my mind.
Oh, that I feel like that would be a really big challenge for me.
Yes, same. Okay, I'm opening up my Gmail. Hold on. And I'm adding my story at the bottom. Oh man, you did like stop mid-sentence. The scanner. And I'm like, what? The scanner what? What did the scanner do? I need a verb.
That's why I was like, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this for now because I'm mean.
Because yeah, exactly. I am mean. I want to see Natalie squirm. Okay. I just posted mine. All right.
Okay.
I am gonna go ahead and read yours before we get on to any other subject.
Okay.
All right. Here is Chandra's story. Let me move the microphone more in front of me so everyone can hear clearly and concise. I'm gonna wet my whistle real quick. All right. I could feel my gut churning, fluttering movements like a giant spider crawling around on my insides. I couldn't even think why I committed to being an actor in an amateur film competition. Probably because Asteroid was my best friend. I should have known what the process would be like. There was a reason we called her Asteroid instead of Astrid. We're similar. There were a multitude of examples of brilliant ideas she had that ended up looking like some reality show had come to our neighborhood. Just last year, Pip had broken his arm on the makeshift bobsled of Asteroid's design. Pip's arm had swollen up the deep purple and red of a boysenberry, and his mom had come over to talk to my parents and Asteroid's mom too. My dad glared at me but didn't say anything. Pip's mom wanted to know why we'd put him up to it. She talked about his medical bills. I shrugged and went back to my room when she started to cry and things got boring. When I got upstairs, Asteroid was already up there. She'd climbed the tree next to my window and was sitting on my bed. So, Liv, she said, I got an idea. The next day, the film idea was born. It wasn't like it was going to be on Showtime or anything, even though that was her real dream. But the look in her eyes was enough to make me agree to anything. I would have agreed if she said she wanted to launch us into the sun, but her idea sounded simple enough. At first, it was just building a massive treehouse. And then she had the idea that I would hang on to a buoy at the then she had the idea that I would hang on to a buoy at the lake, and she would have one of the other kids, Pip couldn't do it with his broken arm, reel in a fake shark. She was talking so excitedly that Pip had to throw rocks at the window to get our attention. Hey guys, he called out, I can't climb up with my arm like this. We came down. It wasn't like my mom said. Pip wanted to be part of the group. Yeah, it sucked when he broke his arm, but we were all so proud of him. Everyone knew you didn't hang around with Asteroid unless you could take a hit. He wanted to be in the gang, so what if he had to break his arm to get there? God. It did make the next year harder. He always had to sneak out. Good thing his bedroom was on the ground level. The cast on his arm still made the escape tricky. Most times I had to slip in his open window and boost him out. Then Astrid would bend down so he could step on her back and not tumble to the ground on the other side. We needed Pip. We wouldn't God, this watch. We needed Pip. We wouldn't have made it this far without him. The bobsled thing was just to get in, but we already knew we wanted him to sketch up our ideas. That was his strength. Asteroid had thought about trying the stunt from Fast and the Furious, where they put a rodent in the in a metal bucket, put it on someone's stomach, and then took a blowtorch to it. Pip nixed that right away. He said if we thought that his broken arm was bad, wait till they had to stitch someone's guts back together. The amount of knowledge he had about gut injuries was enough to make our stomachs churn. By the time he had gone through everything he knew about it, even he was a little green, and Asteroid had changed her mind. Now I was standing on the high dive, about to jump into the pool full of little beads that absorbed water. Product placement without saying it. Pip said this was safer. My stomach said it was not. The spider legs in my stomach took a running start before I did. Okay, Liv, Pip directed. Just let us know when you're ready. We don't want to have to do this too many times. Asteroid sat on the low dive with a police scanner in hand. Yeah, Liv, take all the time you need, but not too much time. I'm not sure how long we have before the cops show up. Don't worry about that right now, Liv, Pip encouraged. All you got to do is jump, and the cameras are rolling. The scanner, that scanner line hits even harder. Oh, I got a cough. Nope, no, I'm good. All right. Yeah, good. 2 seconds. I got to yell at the kids. They come in here looking, and I've been busy. Hold on. Where's my mouse?
So yeah, I've got to finish that last little bit there, but I have it in my mind's eye what happens, and I'm really, really excited about it. I will also have a better count for y'all about
how many flashes.
Yeah.
Now I will say, Eva, that is only close to 200 flashes for including extras and the bonus flashes that Chandra and I do on usually afterwards. That is for the book. I still have to get 200, which I'm not estimated to get until like December, unless I do another like 30-day challenge again, which it takes a lot out of me to do that.
Fair.
I don't want to do more than 2 in a year. Okay. So the story. The only thing I had is that you mentioned we called her Asteroid instead of Astrid, and then I love the line of like, if you know you're around her, you're gonna get hit, and I was like, ooh, that is so good. And I also like the play that it's a boy that's trying to hang out with the girls when normally its stories are the other way around, where it's some girl that's trying to hang out with the boys and be one of the boys. So I thought that was great. But you mentioned, my only thing was, if you mentioned Astrid once, you didn't need to say her name again, because then it was just flip flop around. Just call her Asteroid. We already know it's Asteroid. And we can go with that. Or maybe she has a nickname of Astro or something, you know? And could go with that. But that's my personal preference of just, you've already mentioned Astrid once, and unless you got the mom saying it, because of course she wouldn't call her daughter Asteroid, no need to say it again.
Yeah.
But you did good. So definitely, I liked tying us back into the moment, because I took it as the opening scene is actually her standing on the high dive, but we don't know that she's standing on the high dive, Liv. And talking about the film competition. Then we kind of go through this backstory. Then we go back to now I'm standing on the high dive, ready to jump. And by saying the bringing back the spider legs helped tie me back to the beginning. That was a good thing, because otherwise I was like, I don't think I would have caught that the story started on the high dive, and then it was just this backstory, and then here we are. And I do enjoy the setup, and also I do enjoy the memory, because at first I was like, man, these are some toxic friends. If Pip's like, I'll break my arm to be a part of the group, I was like, oh, that's toxic. But the fact that Liv helps him get out of his room, and Asteroid is like on all fours helping him get out, like they're helping him to make sure he doesn't injure himself more, that made it less toxic and more of a friendship. And I did enjoy that imagery, because at first I was thinking, oh, this is toxic. Like,
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why would he want to be friends with these people?
Yeah, like it was dangerous and stuff. So that's my feedback, is mostly with the name, and finish it.
Okay. So do you feel like it works even though I do a lot of telling? Because that was my one thing.
I think it works. I think there's ways that we could cut down, like when you and I do like a work side by side, what we've done with stories and articles and stuff before. I think there's ways that we could cut it down in some areas, and so where we're not repeating ourselves, like maybe not even disclosing because we mentioned he's breaking his arm a lot. He's broken his arm. Maybe disclosing that his mom has come over to Liv's house and is talking to her father, and that's when she goes upstairs, and maybe we don't know what it is, and then we hear Pip call from going, guys, I can't climb the tree, my arm's broken, and they look out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So kind of cut out the beginning part where we tell what's happened. We just go straight into the scene where the mom's come over, she's upset,
and maybe she can mention the bobsled and be like, it was a rickety bobsled, why would they, and stuff, and then so that way that would cut down a little bit words, build more suspense, so forth.
Mm-hmm. I like that idea.
Because then the reader would be like, well, what the hell happened? Is the kid okay? And the kid's fine. He's just going, guys, seriously, like this thing doesn't move. This is much as I can do. I can wave.
Yeah.
That you and I can edit stuff like that to build more suspense, and then therefore it doesn't feel repetitive and stuff. But the telling won't be as telling. Like we need it to tell, we need it, but at the same time, yeah, you know what I mean. Not as verbose.
I like it. I definitely had a lot of fun with that. And I feel like I got to bring my dark side into the story without killing anyone.
This isn't dark for sure. This could be like Hardy Boys Babysitter Club, about as dark as they got.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Look at me, maybe being able to write Kidlit.
Hey Zoe, what are you doing? Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine. And then, wait, hold on 2 seconds. They're cooking. You're more than welcome to start reading mine, because I know we're on a time crunch and I wrote it. So, all right, I'm muting my.
Here we go. Okay. Okie doke. We got Natalie's story here coming in at 355 words. And here we go. Compared to the genre films, the short film category had a multitude more entries to choose from. Judging it was even harder. How can you compare a horror short with a romance short? The film categories are divided, but just because the length from Showtime is applause in 10 minutes, the film categories are divided, but just because the length from Showtime to applause is 10 minutes, they can all be the same. The film festival, at least, has animation shorts and live action shorts. So the real category isn't complete chaos. The festival is this weekend, and I still haven't submitted my top 10 rankings. There are just too many to pick, and each is beautiful in its own right, and my gut won't let me pit them against each other. The Boysenberry Club, a coming-of-age story about childhood friends reconnecting after college. My Buoy, how we can find help in the most unlikely of places where we find when we find we're drowning. Astrid's Asteroid.
Yeah.
A girl's imagination on how she handles being diagnosed with a terminal illness. Chaos Monster, a horror flick told from the perspective of rodents and spiders, where you think that the enemy is each other, but really humans are the monsters that choose who lives and dies when one crosses our path. Not the Last Bobsled, a documentary following the first all-female bobsled team and how they got their start in the sport. I wish I could list them all, but there are just too many. Maybe because I remember those 5 without being at the master list, that means they're my top. With my elbows on my knees, my head in my hands, I let out a growl, huff, and cry all at once. 4 days of this is torture. My phone vibrates, shaking me from my pity party. It is a group text. Not appealing, but I open it anyway. Hey, fellow film short judges. Not sure if you're struggling like I am, but if you haven't scored any pieces yet, is anyone available to spitball talk through? The first message said. The next 3 text echoes the same sentiment of the first. I'm not alone, and I have found new friends in this process. I love this. I love that. Also, this is just I'm requesting this as a personal favor.
Yeah.
But can you write the Boysenberry Club, My Buoy, I
was thinking as I was like coming up with those premises, I was like, man, I might have to write these short stories.
You should.
Like, because I was just coming up with like ballpark ideas of what could be a snapshot. And I was like, that actually would be pretty cool. And like the horror flick with the twist at the end that it's the humans. I'm like, man, that would be.
I feel like you've got to write them. Like, you don't have a choice anymore.
No, what I need to do is send it out. So horror flick, I need to send that to Laura Nettles.
Ooh, yeah. So my only thing that made me laugh is that we both picked Astrid.
Yeah, that's what I was like, man, we're the same.
But I also feel like the Boysenberry Club, a coming-of-age story about childhood friends reconnecting after college, could be what I just wrote.
Oh my god! Yeah, that could be their entire like. Oh my god! Yes. And they chose Boysenberry. It's not because they played in the woods or whatever. It's because that was the color of Pip's arm. Look at us.
This might be. This would also.
This is Inception.
It is. But hear me out. What if this was like a little short story collection, and this is the foreword? I'm just saying. But
that's actually kind of a cool idea.
I really like it. I really, really like it. And I love the story titles that you came up with. And they're fun. And they're like things that I would actually read. A lot of times when I'm reading stuff where they have to create like fake media content that the characters read, watch, or consume in some form, I feel like the names that they throw out there and the premise of it, I'm like, you're a writer. Try harder.
No, I admit. Okay, so the Chaos Monster was at first going to be rodents and spiders. And I was like, okay, I may have used the words in the description or in the title of the other ones. I was like, this one doesn't work that way and everything. And so I ended up changing it.
Yeah, I like it. And I think, I mean, even Not the Last Bobsled, they all fit the genre that they're set for. And I love that. So, I mean, I think that's going to be just like my favorite thing for this story is how the names that you use for each of the actual stories that the judges are looking at can be real stories.
And I actually had to do some mini research because I was like, oh, what if this was like teenage girls wanting to be the first female bobsled team? And then I did some research. Apparently it already exists. So that's when I changed it. I was like, oh, it's them reflecting on how they came into the sport.
I love it though. I really love it. That was fun. That one is a fun one.
It was. I was a little worried because I didn't even start until like 26 minutes. I'm like getting my son food. I'm like pulling stuff out. And Harvey,
yeah, I'm a fan.
I am typing up the next prompt, the comedy of errors, and this will be interesting.
I'm definitely gonna finish this other story. I know we're gonna workshop it. I think I might want to query this one just because it's fun.
Oh, you know what? What I the more I'm thinking about it, the more I want to do like a short story compilation, but pulling in all my friends where I could expand this story that I just wrote. But all those stories is prompts that I gave my friends.
I think that would be,
yeah.
Please do this. Even if it's just like an authortube. Like,
yes, it would be.
I think it would be so fun.
Because I would need to put like I'm already thinking right now, I'm like Laura Nettles, Colin Clark, and I think like, oh my God, if he did like any of the childhood friends stuff. And then, I mean, the bobsled team, that's historical. That could easily be historical and stuff since it already exists. And you could kind of...
A non-fiction historical
flash. Yeah.
That would
oh my God.
I don't know if that's a genre, but it is now.
Yeah, it just became one. All right. What the hell? Okay. All right, so I got the prompt. Oh, wait, I got a comment. All right. Eva said it's exciting that we see a bigger idea for the prompt. That's usually what happens. We're like, you know what? I like this idea. And then we go, it should be a full story, or it should be this. Or
pretty much. I really enjoy seeing how our ideas cross over when we're writing. And I know that this comes up a lot with like, when I first started writing, I was really afraid to share what I was working on because I thought that people would like steal my ideas. Nope. And although that does happen, I find it's like, it is your idea. Even if we have like similar motivations or whatever, no one can execute the way that you can. And realizing that has made it a lot easier for me to grow and develop and write more because I'm able to share it and get feedback, and feedback makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, to me, feedback is the most fun. Like, I love the brainstorming and everything, and we got it. Okay.
We ready?
Prompt number 2. Oh, wait, let me copy it so I can put it in the chat. Save. Okay. Show. All right. Prompt number 2. There we go.
As a sidebar, while I copy this,
and I just copied it.
I think another thing that I want to just, I say it all the time, but I like putting it out there because I think it's a helpful reminder. I know everyone like wants to get feedback on their project, but I also think it's important to emphasize how helpful it is to give other people feedback.
It is. You learn stuff when you're not in the story.
Yes.
Like Chandra and I will give each other feedback that we should be following ourselves, but when we see it, we go, "Oh, that's why it doesn't work," and stuff or something.
Yeah, and it's like when you're working on something, it's really hard to pull examples out of your own writing. It's hard to be objective, but when you're looking at someone else's writing, it like you see a ton of examples of what it is that you're trying to work on, And
Mhm.
because you are able to get that distance, it becomes easier to implement it in your own writing.
All right, so file, new document.
I mean, even since I've been doing this, I think even when I was on Wattpad, I remember this one story. I was doing read for read with them, and in almost every chapter, they mentioned that the main character had blue eyes.
Well, let's hope they never change that.
And I think I started after probably the first like 5 chapters. I was like, hey, once again, your character has blue eyes. We totally get it.
Yeah, striking blue eyes like the ocean, blue eyes like the sky. And
pretty much. And I mean, this person, I haven't read any of their writing in years, but I mean, they wrote a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And their story was fairly consistent as far as I can recall. I mean, this is some of the first time I was reading for somebody else. But that stuck out to me even when I first started writing.
And then now you make sure you don't. I remember one of my stories, of course, this is like feedback that either I got it from somebody, but then I also got it for myself, but trying to make sure that like the start of each paragraph is not the same, like she, he, or the name of the character and stuff. So
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm going to just pop this up for a minute. I think that's a great way to give the feedback. Trust your reader. Mm-hmm. Trust your reader remembers that you have established the character with blue eyes. Yeah.
Give them more credit.
Yeah. I love that. I think we're ready, right? Ready for round 2?
I got the prompt up. I've got it ready. So the goal is that this story should be funny. That is the challenge. With the prompt of a comedy of errors, we need to have something funny.
You know what's funny? Ordering me to write a funny story.
Very comical.
Pantsers repeat things a lot. That makes sense.
Good point.
Good sense. Eva, stop being out here making all the sense. Well, you just explained myself to me. They forget that they aren't sure if it was really established. Super common thing, super easy fix. Look at you. Eva, are you like a writing mentor or something?
She is. I don't care if she thinks she is or isn't. She is.
We've informed you of your
status.
Okay, we're ready. It's 10:04. We got to make tracks.
Yep.
Beginning sprint number 2 in 3, 2, and 1. It's trash. I wrote trash. I don't even. It's not funny. It's not. I don't know.
I went comedy, but it wasn't comedy of errors, so I'm kind of tried comedy of errors at the end, a little bit, and I'm almost at the final point. I wrote a lot of words though, because I'm showing 507 right now, and so take away like it's probably just under 500 right now with once you take away the prompt and everything.
I got 454. I don't. I mean, it's just it's more just someone being inappropriate and someone making a fool of them. I wouldn't really say it's a comedy of errors. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I was like, I almost started writing something else, but I was like, I don't think it's not a bad story. It's just not what we set out to do. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
mission not accomplished, challenge failed.
That just means we get to do it again. That's what we've done with our challenges. Be like, we didn't do really well, so we're gonna try this another day.
I mean, it's there's definitely a vibe here. I mean, you'll see. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. It's just it. I don't know. I mean, you'll see.
I think I got an end, but I also I didn't use the word dusk. It's the only one. But at this point, instead of hunting where to put it, I'm just gonna go ahead and work with what I got. So total words is 551. Not too bad, especially
All
right
right,
then.
doing it.
All right. By the way, are we working in the same document we were before?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. All right, adding it in. All right, how much time do we have? We're actually doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you want, you'll read mine first, just in case.
Yes.
Okay, because we know you can just watch on the back end on what I gotta say about yours.
All right, here we go. The undead walks, Cameron said as his sister entered the dining room. Bacon, Gretchen mumbled as she pulled her hair back before making her plate. Their parents sat at the table with barely touched plates in front of them as their mom read the newspaper and their father read an e-book. Cameron bolted up from the table. "Ooh, I need more syrup," he said as he beelined for the kitchen. Gretchen was coming out of the kitchen at the same time. In a split second, she held her plate high above her head as Cameron limboed under it. Gretchen plopped into her chair and dug in. When Cameron returned with the syrup, she grabbed it from him before he could sit down. "Hey," he protested. "Why are you both so quarrelsome this morning?" their father asked. "Because he is happy." Oh, sorry, my bad. Because he is a harpy. Oh my gosh, because she is a harpy, Cameron said as he snatched the syrup from the table just after Gretchen placed it down. "You don't even know what that means," Gretchen countered. Their mother interjected. "Enough. I want to hear a cricket because it's so quiet this morning." After a few seconds, a cricket sound broke the silence. "Cameron," his mother warned, Cameron shrunk into his chair but still held a smirk on his lips. The sunshine is great. Why don't you two go outside and play today? Their father suggested. Gretchen grabbed her empty plate and the syrup bottle and headed towards the kitchen. I was going to try to finish my book today. Because your report is due tomorrow? Cameron interjected. Gretchen's eyes narrowed at her brother. Hey, Cameron, she said with a smile. How about we play Red Wagon like we used to? Do you know where it is? Cameron's eyes grew wide. Gretchen mouthed, whoops, with a shrug as their parents eyed Cameron. Cameron slammed his chair back from the table and said, Sure, I'll get it. Come on, sis. As he sprinted to the garage, Gretchen leisurely put her things in the kitchen and made her way to the garage. Just as she opened the door, she was drenched by a stream of water from the water gun in Cameron's hand. Her reddened face evaporated the water as she sprinted after him. Cameron tumbled into a 3-wheeled red wagon as it started to slide down the steep driveway. Just as it slid across the road, a car drove past. Luck won't save you from me, Gretchen shouted as she checked for cars. On the other side in the ditch lay Cameron next to an overturned wagon. Get up, loser, Gretchen said. Cameron didn't move. Gretchen rolled her eyes before descending down the ditch. She nudged his leg with her foot. I'm not carrying your ass or hauling you in the wagon like a rickshaw. Cameron's body bounced with the force of the nudge, but he still didn't make a sound. Cameron? Gretchen said softly. She kneeled down, then she said his name louder as she rolled him over. A smile grew on his lips. Aw, sis, you care, he said. You little shit. She kicked him again and walked back up the ditch. I only care to not get in trouble for your stupidity. Cameron laughed and shook his head as he grabbed the wagon and returned home with his sister. It's almost like you have siblings.
Yep.
That's funny.
Though without the, oh, you care moment.
It's valid. But it's definitely like, shh, you're fine. Don't tell mom. I like that. That's good.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really comedy of errors and everything, but
comedy of near misses, I would say.
Yeah, there was a lot of near misses and everything. I think I would have to study more for errors. All right, any points on that?
I just like it in general. It's just it doesn't meet our objective.
No,
but I like the story. I think it's funny. There's a couple places where it's like, just the general typos from first draft and stuff like that. And, I stumbled over some of those. But, the only other thing I could say about this is that I'm not really sure what the ages are.
Yeah,
there's a couple times
I need to be more clear on that.
Yeah. But other than, I thought they were teenagers and then they weren't. And then they were teenagers. And then, some of the way they talk to each other seems like teenagers, but some of what they're doing doesn't. So I would like a little more clarification. I'm guessing early teens from the back and forth.
Yeah, I feel like she was older, which is why she knew a word such as rickshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to look that one up. But and I imagined him younger. I think I need to work on the ages. Like maybe say where his feet barely touch the ground or something when he's sitting at the table, doing a little more showing.
Mm-hmm. So maybe she's the older sister and he's like the pestering younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't quite get that, but I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like it. Yeah, it's not a comedy of errors, but it's still a fun story.
Yeah, there's comedy in there at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think mine is actually pretty dark for something that does have a little bit of comedy in it, but it's also inappropriate. I don't know. You'll
dark
see.
Comedy.
Yeah, just take comedy out of it. And
all right. And hey, we still got time. Okay. Irony, a comedy of errors. The undead shrink from the quarrelsome task of living. I think we can all agree that Professor Wimbledon is the most pretentious fuck to ever walk the face of this planet. Preston leaned over to his seatmate in the lecture hall. Tony smirked. Like, are you serious? He isn't funny. Half the time he comes across as a racist asshole. Or sexist, Preston said. Borne away on the dark wings of a shapely harpy, Wimbledon continued. He used his hands to emphasize what he meant by shapely. You know, when I was in China, I hired a rickshaw to take me everywhere I went. I enjoyed the idea of a yellow man, holy shit he is, yellow man being under my boot for a change. I even made him take me to the red light district where your father... Was that your father, Tony? A story for another time. What are you... Okay, hold on. All right, the lecture hall shifted into an uncomfortable silence. Everyone knew he was just getting started. Tony's face went red with anger. I'm not fucking yellow, and I'm from Japan. He hadn't meant to say it out loud. Oh, good. You can speak English. Maybe after class you can pull me around. I have lots of errands to run. Holy dude. Preston kept his head down, his fingers moving rapidly over the trackpad on his laptop. He'd been waiting for this day for a long time. He realized he could hack the computer weeks ago, but he had been waiting for the right time. It was finally his moment to shine. Wimbledon was so focused on Tony that he didn't notice the mouse on his computer moving across his projected reflection on the screen behind him. He was too busy going in on one of his racist rants, and he didn't even notice when the video call Preston placed to the dean was answered, or when Preston minimized it to pull up the other screen that Wimbledon had opened on his device. XO, girls. The web address was obvious. Preston hit play on the video that had already been loaded. He turned the volume up. From dusk till dawn, the moon's reflected rage of sunshine illuminates all aspects of the world. The male obviously represents the sun, the female, the lesser, dimmer moon. He paused. Undignified sound emanent from his computer. The whole class sat as if in limbo. The image of a barely 20-something girl bent over the professor's desk splashed across the projected lecture notes, with sounds to match. The dean of the students shouted from the video call, his angry voice loud enough to truly compete with EXO girls. Wimbledon froze, his face drained, white flush. Cricket, cricket, someone said. Whoops, Tony said. Preston's shoulders shook with laughter. Oh my gosh. That was good. Like, you set the tone and like built the character. Like, Wimbledon is like somebody we know, or at least a caricature of someone we know. Like, and unfortunately we know of them. At least they are not in a circle of friends whatsoever. And like, you made that very believable. And then to have the characters, like, it made so much sense. And you actually have a lot of characters in this for a Flash, but it still works. Like, everyone fulfills their role in their character. Mm-hmm. The most fleshed out is Wimbledon, but the others make sense as we understand their drive and what their goal is. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I want to add. I think okay, so here's something to think. When someone says cricket, cricket, we didn't even say these sounds were done. And everything. So I think if the sounds were done, and maybe
we need a pause for there to be silence.
Yes. To say or the dean after the sound is done, because maybe Tony's like, okay, I think I did enough. And like, he presses the space bar to pause the video, and the pause, like, you could emphasize where he paused it on a really odd moment or something, and it's on the screen. And then you hear the dean say, class is dismissed, and we have a meeting right now, or something. And then there's complete silence as nobody moves. And
And then someone's like,
it's like cricket. Yeah. And stuff. So that could be a way to help stretch it a little bit more and give it more of a pause, and then also give it light. And then my question is the girl in the class?
Ooh. And, I hadn't quite thought of that, but I did think about like, okay, as a woman, what would my response be to having a professor
so
like
at least
this?
have the other women in the class and be like, and what if they're whispering, maybe they know the girl, maybe she's not in the class, but they know, and be like, oh, Jessica, like.
But yeah, the added scandal of like the person in the video is the same age as the girls in the class, which makes it extra uncomfortable. And every sexist pervy thing that he said through the entire semester, it's like compounded now by this. But the fact that no one's really all that surprised by it is like we've already seen what kind of character this is.
Yeah.
Like no one's super surprised. They're just trying to get it to the point where someone will see what his behavior is and do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that those are a few things that can make it better, is like having more reaction from the audience, not just the three characters, like have a general reaction where you can make another character, but it's the girls, the women in the class. Are they like half of them are going, others are like, just like, oh my God, like they don't even want to see it. Like it's a train wreck and everything.
Probably somebody would leave.
Yeah. Oh, yes. A few people would leave. And I bet there is some jerk that actually likes this professor that's like, yeah, get it. Like, and just a complete bozo. I'm sure there's another word for him, but like there's one kid that's like, whoa, go you. And it's like, no, read the room, dude. But that way you got some levels of reactions and stuff. And because then to me, the reactions can weigh more than actually describing what's happening on screen.
Yeah, and that was part of it. Is like I didn't want to go into too much detail because it's not about that.
Yeah.
And but I did want to emphasize the fact that this person is the girl in the video is very young, and that the fact that she's so close in age to his students makes it even more revolting.
And here's the other thing is that actually a few things need to happen. If it's a video call, one, he would only be able to see what's on video unless he shared his screen.
Well, what I was thinking is the screen is projected on the back of the classroom wall, right?
Yeah.
But the professor has his laptop on his desk open.
Okay,
the video.
Let's describe the placement there.
Yeah.
Like maybe when he calls the hold on, Spencer. Maybe when he calls the dean, he sees while waiting for the dean to answer, he sees the picture of the board or something, or the projection in the webcam spot, and he's like, all right, perfect, my plan will work, or something like that. And and then he minimizes that while he's waiting for that, and then yes, Spencer. Not yet.
Yeah.
In a little bit, dude.
Yeah.
Dad home? No. Yes. No, it's no.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm excited. But we do have to do a comedy of errors as a challenge.
This was not funny.
It was funny. Like we had humor in here. Like if either of our stories were scenes in a movie, we would be laughing, or at least like a chuckle. So Dad is not home yet, but he will be. He's in the grocery store.
No.
I'm sorry. Do you not want food?
Times are hard.
Yeah. So. All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Hold on, buddy. I'm wrapping up. Thank you everybody for coming. Appreciate it. Chandra has work. I have, for anybody who didn't, no one has seen, but I actually had an associate agent like my post yesterday. So I am going to be pretty much trying to do a query letter, fix 3 chapters, and it's going to be a fun thing. So I'm going to try to get that done and so that I can submit things by Monday. I will let you know in a second, buddy. Hold on. But I appreciate everybody coming by, and I hope you enjoyed the stories, and I hope it inspired you to write your own, or maybe just laugh and be like, well, at least I write better than that.
And when you do a comedy of errors, maybe it'll actually be a comedy of errors.
Yeah. I might actually have to do a research on examples of comedy of errors to get there. 2 seconds,
That's a
buddy.
good idea. We should do that.
Yeah. So maybe that'll be next Saturday's goal is.
Figure this one out.
Yeah.
This was a tricky one.
It was. Knees in the back. So, all right. Bye, everybody. We'll end the prod. Yes, you can press.
You want to press the button?
All right. And, okay. But no, it's already on. Stop. No, you just turned it off.
Is he gonna?
Yeah, he's gonna try to press. Though I think my muscles. All right, you gotta press here. Click here. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, go.